Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Elle. I'm an interior designer and blogger, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how I organise my basement storage. If you haven't seen the previous webisode, this was all about my basement makeover, from where we started to where we've got here today. Now, it's not the prettiest video, it's not going to be the most aesthetically inspiring video, but I really wanted to make this video on organisation separate from the makeover one because it was the one thing that people were asking me about on Instagram. When I first broached about the idea that I was going to be making over my basement and it was something that I was just going to do for myself, but would people be interested in seeing the before and afters, overwhelmingly everybody said absolutely yes, 100%. And I think it's because we've all got that weird room in our house, whether it be a Victorian cellar like I have, or just that kind of forgotten space that no one quite knows how to handle, no one quite knows what to do with, and you just need a bit of guidance. And I get why people don't want to film it. It's not the most inspiring place. I mean, this light is not flattering whatsoever. It doesn't look aesthetic, you know, you're not going to see much of this on the gram, but it's important. We all have these spaces and we need to talk about like how we do them, because some people just need a little bit of help. So I hope that even if you take one thing from how I've done it in my space, it helps you out with your home. So let's talk about my basement for the moment. I would recommend just pausing this video, going back to the basement makeover video to see where we came from to where we are now and see the whole process before you watch this video. But to give you a quick elevator pitch, this is a Victorian home. This basement is basically underneath my house, obviously. If you come through our kitchen door, it is immediately the door on your left that has the little utility room, which is a little bit behind you, up the stairs, and then you go down the stairs into this space. This room is approximately the same size as my living room, if not a bit smaller, and it wasn't being utilised when I first started, and over the course of 8 weeks I've got it to where it is today, and I'm mighty proud of it. I'm mighty proud of the work I did. This room had to have a couple of functions in mind. So the first one was general storage, mainly for my DIY stuff. The other thing we needed was like a pantry space, so a place to store our back stock of food and everything like that. We had space within our kind of pantry cupboard in our kitchen and also at the back of our kitchen. I will link somewhere my kitchen organisational video because that will kind of explain where everything was before. The other thing I needed was a kind of home organisation space. I also needed the space for gardening, not a lot of space, but I have a lot of gardening stuff because it's a hobby that I'm sure everyone in the UK picked up over this last year, so I needed somewhere to keep my little space. Sneak peek, it's right here. So that was something to bear in mind. The final thing was basically open space to add more stuff. So speaking of gardens, we've got obviously all our garden furniture in the garden at the moment, but the weather is changing and it's going to be coming down here eventually. And yeah, it's going to take up a bit of room, but it's not going to be over and crowding where I can't get to the basic bits that we need. So I'm going to take you through each section one by one. For some of the stuff like the boxes and woven baskets, etc, etc, I'm going to link those stuff down below for you to easily shop. However, if you want to see all the exact products that I used in the basement makeover, I will leave a link to my Shop My Basement page on my website. This is going to have everything there, exactly every single piece, every single counterpart that I used to create this space. So if you're interested in replicating exactly what I've done here, every single thing will be in that page. So do go check it out if you are interested. So let's not waffle on anymore. Let's start almost right behind you with the pantry area and we'll make our way around the room. So let's go and see my pantry space. Okay, our pantry space. So as I kind of mentioned, you come down the stairs from the kitchen and this wall is the wall basically next to the stairs. This is the first thing you see as you come down the space. It was important for me to have this bit here because if we're just grabbing food, you don't want to be kind of trekking it, especially like I said, when we're bringing other stuff in during the winter, you don't want to be clambering over it. So I very much wanted this runway bit free for us to come and grab excess food as and when we needed it. Okay, so let me talk about how I've organised it and my thought process behind it. So the system that I've used, which is the system I've used throughout the entire basement makeover, is the Ivar set from IKEA. This section is probably the one that your eyes are all going straight to. This is my alcohol section. I had this all originally in our little pantry cupboard up in the kitchen area, but it was overflowing with stuff. I also had my champagne on a champagne rack, which looked great, but I need to use that space for something else. So I knew immediately that I needed sort of an alcohol drink section here. This is not all the alcohol, by the way. This is just some of it. A lot of the other alcohol is upstairs at the moment, waiting to go to its new home. I have an old bureau desk that I'm going to be doing a makeover DIY on, which you should be seeing very, very soon. And I'm going to be turning that into sort of a bar cart in our living room space. So like I said, this is just like the surplus of mainly gin, or like flavoured gin. There's also seasonal gin here as well. There's like a Christmas gin that I will swap out with the bar cart as and when it's up and running towards the end of this year, because, you know, we need our Christmas drinks on hand. Much like the Disaronno as well. I love a Disaronno in Christmas time. It's one of my favourite things to go to. So we have the little champagne rack here, which I actually thought would be more for like my sparkling water. It's been taken over by something else sparkly, but it works for us here. It's really nice, and it's cool down here as well, which is great because it means that it's always going to be on point, ready to pop at a moment's notice, which is great. Down here, which you can't see, but I'll show you a little close up, is 2 more shelving bits. So this is just a little space for my husband's extra protein powder and probably my surplus of protein powder when the order comes in. And then I have a little woven basket here, which is housing a big bag of pasta at the moment, but we're going to be buying more brown rice and everything like that. So I'm calling this like the dinner carbohydrate drawer. So if we need any surplus of stuff, we know to come straight to this basket. This is like a seagrass woven basket. I have so many of these baskets around my home. I have the identical ones to these in my kitchen, which again, go check out the kitchen organisation video. That'll kind of explain how I use them throughout the home. So these are the medium size one, but it works perfectly on these shelves. It fits them like a glove. Okay, so moving on to this bit here, this is more of the main pantry situation. So we have 2 wire baskets that are empty at the moment. Right below it, I've got more of the sea baskets. I've got more of the seagrass woven baskets, and these 2 hosts, husband's porridge and bran flakes, his surplus of them. When we were in the original cupboard, he would constantly tell me he ran out of like bran flakes, and he never had. There was like a box after box in there. So hopefully this resolves the problem of not buying too many of the same thing because we've forgotten about what we've got in there. Same with our alternative milk. So I have plenty, oops, this is not moving. It's really heavy. I have plenty here along with apple juice for my smoothies and everything like that, and they just sit there, they're happy as Larry. Underneath here I have, again, the same baskets in the same size. This hosts like excess cooking oil, sriracha sauce, because we love sriracha sauce, truffle oil, like I always got to have a truffle oil on hand. So there again, it's just excess bottles. And then here is more of our tin stuff. I'm not going to pull this out because it's absolutely heavy. This bottom shelf here has excess glass jars. These are also from IKEA. This is how I store a lot of our food, because you can see the amount that you have, like in terms of rice and pasta and everything like that, but it just also is so much better for decor. It's my number one tip to decorating the kitchen. Take it out of the ugly packaging and put it into my glass jars. So they're there if we need to grab them as and when. And then next to it, I actually have the largest version of the woven baskets. Oops, nearly lost it there. This has excess Yorkshire tea because I'm not about to be run out of Yorkshire by pitchforks from angry Yorkshire people complaining that I've not got tea in the house, so they're there. I've got excess bread flour and also normal flour. I've got things also like excess brown sugar and everything like that. And I also have all the coffee pods that I could possibly need. So there again, they're there if I run out of them. So right underneath it on the bottom shelves, we have our kitchen stuff, more of our tools and equipment that we don't use on a regular basis. So we have our, I think this is a casserole dish, I call it a Dutch oven. Do let me know what you call it. I have a smaller box here, which at the moment only has my emulsion blending for when I make soup. These plastic boxes, I've got these throughout the basement, and I swear by these. I will never use any other plastic storage other than this. These are the really useful box company ones. They come in so many different sizes and shapes and capacity. I absolutely love them. They're the best plastic boxes. I think any others that I've tried have just been, you know, inferior to these ones. They've got the best like clip solution, and it's sturdy. They all stack up on top of each other. They're super durable. I've dropped so many of these accidentally and they've barely had a scratch on them. I just swear by them, and they're perfect. And then I have some of the really massive ones right below it. So one of them has our toaster because we didn't have any room on the side for it. And yes, we do have toast, but we recently got an air fryer and she's just sort of obliterated a lot of stuff, including our oven. So I just thought best keep the toaster down here. I don't want to get rid of it because it's a really nice Smeg toaster, but I figured I'll just keep it down here and we'll get it out when we get a bigger kitchen. And then next to it we have our skillet pan and our slow cooker. Okay, so briefly to the side of me is my electric cupboard. This is a cupboard I actually made myself. This has our electricity box and main supply behind it. Before it was all exposed and I just really didn't like the look of it, so I wanted to just keep it hidden out of view. And then below it I've got more of the Ivar shelving that I've sort of slotted into that corner. And this really has kind of like a transport section, as I'm calling it, because it has a lot of my car supplies like extra screen wash, de-icer and cleaning stuff. And then below it is a huge box for my husband's bike stuff, so his helmet, his pumps and everything like that. Let me move you briefly on to our garden section. Okay, I'm coming down low for this section because you really can't see any of it when I'm stood up. So I have one of these taller units here, which is partially blocking that open window space that was there that I did board up. This is pretty much empty at the moment. Like I said, this is probably going to fill up quick and fast next summer when we're enjoying more of our new garden situation. And I think also when I bring in some of the plants, because some of them won't be able to survive out there in the winter, they'll all be stacked up on here, so plenty of space to grow. Have watering can right here. He was kind of just rolling about outside and it annoyed me whenever I could hear him rolling about in the wind, so I thought, I'll bring you down here, mate. Below it here, more of the seagrass baskets. This one I actually had upstairs on top of my washing machine in the utility area, just to kind of keep all these bits rolling about. It literally has all my gardening tools in here, and it's great because she just slots in there and I can just forget about her and grab her as and when I need. This big box here is the same size as the ones that are holding the bigger kitchen utensil stuff. This is hosting our bench cushions. I figured with them being fabric, let's just keep them in plastic boxes, just out of the way and everything like that. So they're all squished in there, so they're going to need a bit of plumping next summer, but it's ideal to just kind of put it here out of the way. Next to it is our cushions for our chairs and stuff. So again, they're there to grab as and when I need them. So right next to it here is our bag of soil. Right here is two of those boxes, same size, same make and model. This one is hosting our covers for when it rains and everything like that. And then finally to the side of it, I have a box which is just full of our string lights. Right above the section here is our gas meter, so this again has been boarded up, and it's just more for pretty sake than anything else, because I just didn't look at an ugly bit of the wall that wasn't finished nicely or anything like that, so I thought to encase it in these homemade cupboards, and again works perfectly for what we need. I am gonna shovel around this way but stay on the ground to show you my little secret cupboard area. Okay, back on the ground again. So this is my metal cupboard area. This is also part of the Ivar range and something that I wanted to invest in because it can be locked, so I wanted it to be somewhere that I could keep anything dangerous or harmful in, where if we had somebody over with kids and they accidentally wandered down here, they weren't going to come and grab a power tool or anything like that, like it's all locked away. So the key's here, I keep it way up high on the side. On top of it, I did decorate it a little bit. This is a DIY book that my dad gave to me, and he thought it might be useful for the stuff that I want to do in our house. So I've displayed it with my Farrow & Ball paint book. And it's just a little DIY moment. I thought about maybe getting something else to decorate down here, maybe in the future, but just a little styling moment, because every room has to have a moment. And then on top of it, I put on this reed diffuser just to make the room smell nice, because it was smelling a bit musky and everything down here. Okay, so let me open up the cupboard. I'm like revealing everything here. Here we go, this is my little cupboard space. So I've got all my power tools on the top, and my saw, my drill, my circular straw and my jigsaw, and then underneath it I've got bigger paint buckets, and then I have some spray paint, some tester pots, some little paint, and then I have like outdoor cleaner and weed colour that again I didn't want people to get their hands on. She's all nice and secure behind here. Okay, so let me walk you over to my pride and joy area, which is my DIY little station. Welcome to my DIY station. This is my pride and joy. It is an extension of the cupboard, but this is a bit more of the practical space area. So let me start up at the top. So you can't see it, but there is a piece of wood here. I have a small enough gap at the top here that any sheets that are too big for the other wood storage situation, which I'll get to in a bit, is stored up here. So there's only one bit at the moment. I always like to just keep spare bits of wood in case of DIY projects or anything else, so don't like to throw it away, so I keep it there just in case. Right below it are these two boxes. So these are a different size box than the ones you would have seen. They're a bit bigger and obviously they can hold more. I've separated these by categories, which I need to label, but I'm particular about my labels, so I'll probably do that later. And right now only I need to know where everything is, so I know exactly where I've put stuff and what each of the categories are. So this is like filler stuff, sealants and stuff like that. So this is kind of just those bits where I've got obviously like my compound stuff, I've got some scrapers for scraping off stuff, and like the sealer stuff. So this is kind of that finishing touch area. I have here, this is like my woodworking box. So I have like a cutter guide that's really good for doing little small cuts and stuff to get direct 40-degree angles and everything like that. I have my sand block here, I have the clamps for stuff. So again, it's like my woodwork situation. I also have this little heirloom from my dad, which is like a, I don't know what it's called, but it makes right angles and allows you to draw straight lines for when you're cutting wood and everything. So that's in here. So down below it is pretty sparse, but I have 3 of the smaller boxes that you would have seen previously throughout the space. One of them is completely empty, but again, I need room to grow into, so I wanted to keep that as empty as possible. This one has a few little bits in it, and then right next to it, this is like what I'm calling more decorative DIY. So I've got a lot of like decorative picture nails, picture hanging situation there, so that's all in there. These 2 drawers I probably use the most of. They are pull-out file drawers that you can get part of the iVar range. This is really a plug for the iVar range, but hey ho, it works for me. It might work for you guys. But they're great because they literally pull out. You can have them a bit more open than this, but I didn't necessarily need them on an angle, so I just kept them as closed off. So this one here has a bulk load of roll plugs, little nails, a big box of screws, and other additional screws and stuff like that. So I've got every nail screw I want under the sun, so it's easily grabbable here. I also have masking tape. I think I might have done this, so this one might need to find a home, but I think I was just like, oh, I need to put masking tape somewhere, and I had no idea where to put it, so I put it there. And then this one is not used as much in like everyday stuff, but this has our extension cord, loads of masks, my safety glasses, gloves, everything like that is in there. So that's kind of more my equipment little drawer of grabbable stuff. This bit here is open for my toolbox, my pride and joy. This has every kind of tool, hammer, everything like that under the sun in it. And again, it's just easily grabbable as and when I needed it. And then here I've got 2 of the teeny boxes, and this is hosting sort of extra bits and equipment and stuff. So this has like 1,000,001 Allen keys, which really should I get rid of, but what if I need one? What if I didn't have the exact Allen key I needed? So I figured I'd keep it here, along with our radiator keys, because again, I was like, where do I keep these? But we do need them for when we need to feed our radiators, so they're in there, easily grabbable. And then this one sits on top, which is one that I use a lot more of, which is all of our drill bits. So every little power drill bit under the sun, masonry, indoor, even hole cutter, it's all there. Okay, so we are now going to take the camera down and I'm going to show you the rest of the shelving unit. Okay, so I'm just walking you down to the final bits because I wanted to kind of show you how these bits works, particularly this one. I'm kind of excited by this little contraption here. The final bit of the shelving on here is paint stuff. So this is actually the masonry paint that we use to paint the entire basement area. Here I have a box starting with every roller and brush you could possibly need. I figured keep that in there, safe and sound. And then here is little bits of like cleaning products and stuff like that, little trays, a lot of frog tape for masking things off. And then my baby, my absolute pride and joy. This is an IKEA box. Again, part of the iBar range. It's on wheels, so it rolls out. And as you can see, it has more of my scrap wood. So I have smaller sheets in here. I have all different types of wood, all different types of planks and everything like that. And then she just rolls back in. And I absolutely am obsessed with this. This is like my DIY nerd coming out. Like, this is so handy and useful. I absolutely love it. So I recommend if you have a lot of scrap wood lying around, get this because it's a dream. I just dump it, pull it out as and when I need. And yeah, the nerd is coming out. I'm fully realising this. Okay, so let me take you on to the final bit, which is our backstock cleaning situation. Okay, the light is really harsh because it's just here, so see my face. This is our kind of cleaning situation. I must admit, this area here, particularly this bit here, is very much unfinished, but it's okay because it's room to grow into. But I just figured get it now and we have it for when we need it in the future. These 2 boxes are a bit random, but I figured this was the best place to store them. They're the same size big boxes as the ones over here on my workbench. This one houses lots of random bits of cleaning products like carpet cleaner and bicarb soap, everything like that. And then this little random box looks a little creepy. I can admit that myself because it's full of tiny little furniture. But this is actually furniture that I used to play with as a child. So my grandma sadly passed away this year in April, and one thing that I took from her estate that has a lot of memory to me is the dollhouse that my granddad made, who sadly passed away a couple of years ago. My granddad built this dollhouse all by himself from, I don't even think he had a plan, he just went for it. And it was something that my sister and I and my cousin played with all the time, and I have so many great memories with it. It sadly kind of got pushed to a corner as we grew up and not many kids went over to the house. So it is a little bit damaged and I really want to work on it as a little project of mine. So that might be a makeover video be seen soon about how I made over my doll's house, because I really want to restore it back to life and have it be passed on to our kids if we have any, and grandkids and everything like that. So I really want to restore it back, but for the moment I'm keeping all the tiny furniture here. So it is a little bit creepy, but it's going to be having a new home very soon where it's going to look fabulous. Below it is a roll of toilet paper. I just like to make sure we have enough in the house for as and when we need, so I always buy in bulk once a month. So I just wanted the space to keep it here, so it's all nice and neat on this bit here. Right below it is more of the small little boxes. 3 of these seem to fit perfectly on this double iBar system. If you're interested in sorting out your own basement and copying this idea, the 3 of the little boxes work perfectly. This one has excess kitchen roll. This one has all our laundry stuff, so washing up liquid, everything like that. And then this one is just filled to the brim with hand wash and lots of Zaflora, because I love using Zaflora around the home, so it's all kept in there. Below it is a little bit bigger, and here I've got another one of the boxes here full of kind of cleaning equipment. That's all kept in there. And then I have one of these woven baskets again that I'm putting like all of our, oh, there's a screwdriver in here that shouldn't be in here. Let me go and put that away. So as I was saying, this hosts normally our iron in here, the excess like vacuum cleaner heads and stuff like that, and the water jug for the iron. I just wanted this as more of an easier grabbing basket of everyday stuff that we do use. And then right below it is our bin situation. So I have 4 of these bins from IKEA that house all our recycling, as well as excess non-recyclable stuff that isn't food and everything like that. So they're both divided pretty much, as bottom is glass and non-recyclable, and the top 2 are cardboard and excess recyclable packaging. So this is it for my basement organisation website. I do hope you enjoyed it. I do hope you found this helpful. Like I said, I will link the boxes and stuff in the description below, but if you're interested in the other stuff that I use for my basement makeover, do head over to the Shop My Basement page on my website and I'll have everything there. So yeah, do let me know in the comments below if you're going to use any of these organisation tips in your own home, and yeah, like this video, share it with anyone that you think will find it interesting. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be back with another interiors video very, very soon. Bye guys!